Alright, I just want to ask a question to people, because I keep getting these comments by people who think they're atheists. Um, Whenever I remark on something, they, you know, I'm like, it's kind of strange that there's more atheists blowing up the crazy on my comments than there are Christians. That's just an observation. Get a message back, oh, this is just persecution syndrome, blah blah blah. You always want to this. No, it's a fact. Look at the comment section on my YouTube channel. Um, the atheists out crazy the Christians. They really do. And that's not my label, that's their label that they put on. If somebody comes on and says they're Christian, it's as much crazy as it's a crazy Christian person. If somebody does it from the atheist side, it's a crazy atheist person. I don't care whether they're true Christians or true atheists. This is the label they give themselves. My question would be regarding this book, Who Wrote the Bible, by Richard Elliott Friedman. This talks about the documentary hypothesis, which claims that a redactor put together four different, basically different Bibles, different scriptures to make one Torah, or actually not the full Tanakh, but up to the books of Kings, second Kings. What are they going to do with this? Is the Bible still written in the medieval period? Should I go around claiming that all atheists believe that the Bible was written in the medieval period to discredit them, just like they say, oh, all Christians believe that evolution isn't true and they're all counter-evolution? What about those atheists that claim the Bible was written in the Middle Ages? Boom, is there proof? Oh, now they have to convert to Christianity. No, of course not. But what are they going to do with the fact that pretty much discovered evidence that it was written not by Moses, but around the kingdoms period? It was written just after King Solomon died. Now, it's not from Moses, the Torah, and there's never really been any. There has in Judaism a stamp of this is the books of Moses, but in Christianity it was always debated. They're called the books of Moses, but you would have never gotten burned. You would have never gotten excommunicated, anything like that, for questioning, saying this isn't for Moses. There was always an open debate, and I know a lot of people like to not believe that, like to think that somehow the ancient church was like the Nazis or something, But yeah, there was scholarly debate, and actually, there's always been debates and arguments in the church. You see so many councils; it wasn't just one monolithic thing. And if you look at how much interest and debate there has been from uh, the time of Christ's death, or we should say from the spreading of the apostles, up until the time Martin Luther. Martin Luther said, no, 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 too much has been discussed and changed. When you go back to the original, you got Lutherans, and then you got the Reform movement under Calvin and Zwingli. But what about the fact that it wasn't a medieval forgery? That now we can date it back to Hezekiah's time. I wonder how bitterly atheists are going to fight that, or the label atheist. Because again, I'm not arguing against atheists. I'm arguing against stupid people entrenched in their own dogma. And that may seem funny to people who are rational atheists out there, saying, no, we need to look at all the evidence. And yeah, we do. This is the thing. The thing that I hold against those crazy people that come on here and type in crazy stuff claiming to be atheists is that they're uneducated. If they were educated, I could talk with them and be friends with them about stuff, any issue. But the fact that they take such a dogmatic stance that they these are the people who this is the type of person who would have performed the Inquisitions had they lived 500 years ago. People with these irrational dogmas that want to persecute anybody who doesn't agree with them. This is what I'm against. It's not a disbelief in God. As I've said multiple times, and this is getting totally redundant and repetitive, If you don't already believe there's a God, then there's no reason for you to struggle with it. There's no you would have to fight the incarnations of a God. You would have to, and that word God is totally useless. It's like religion. It doesn't really translate over across languages or cultures. There's no consistent God as there's no consistent religion. Or actually, I should say religions and gods aren't consistent at all. Uh, so looking at the documentary hypothesis, we see that the history goes way back. Is it infallible? No. um, is it? Do we see that? Oh, it's just it's constructed purport of things that we have to throw away. No, that's how history of mankind goes. I mean, I don't from a from a human perspective, humanity's perspective, we have to take all these things with us. It's all part of our baggage, as just as we have to with ancient Greece, ancient Egypt. These are all things that affected the modern day. Just as reason why I look at Islam and keep continually studying that and looking at other philosophies, because it's all part of the human experience. Once you come in like the Khmer Rouge and you try to blot out parts of the human experience and just it didn't happen or it only happened this one way or it's not as complex or try to beat down, just like the thing with the evolutionists that fight the aquatic ape or people who don't want to talk about various subjects, don't want to revisit them. Uh, it's this dogmatism, this heresy hunting. And again, as I said, I was expecting to find it from the Christians. I didn't. I found it in the people who call themselves atheists, being these witch hunters. And they come across my channel and they want to talk about creationism. Well, neither me nor my church has ever backed creationism. My church was the oldest one. We never added up those lists and said, oh, it must be 6,000 years. No, nobody ever bothered to do that until the creationists came. I think it was in Judaism they do that. But if they're doing it in Judaism, they're probably not doing it in Christianity because Christians and Jews are trying to be opposed of each other. We left that or they left us, that kind of in-house argument. And nobody really added them up until the West. I think the first time in the West it was done, or in Europe it was done, was in around the 1500s or something like that. And then, I mean, it just goes on and on with crazy type of stuff. So what about the documentary hypothesis? Are the atheists going to weigh in on the side of it, or are they going to dismiss it and keep, as some do, say it's a medieval forgery? They don't believe the first 1,000 years of Christianity happened, even though we have battles and things like that occur, and dig stuff up out of the ground, see crosses on it, and quotes the Bible on their swords and stuff like that. But no, I mean, uh, where are these people going to run to hide? And again, I don't mean atheists. I mean irrational people who cloak themselves in atheism. And like I said, if they were living in a Christian community, they'd be the radical evil Christians. It's people who fuck up the world. Not a book, not an idea, uh, not different theories, not somebody praying to something. It's the jackass asshole people that fuck up this world. And it's the heresy hunters and the witch hunters and people like this that fuck everything up. It's not somebody going about their business praying to God. That doesn't. No. It's not the Muslims who pray 5 times a day that we're scared of. It's the ones who want to fuck with us, the ones who don't like the fact that we're living our life right here. They want to fly planes into us and shit like that. And I think it's a pretty easy distinction to make. You're walking on the road, somebody passes you by. The person's all right. You're walking on the road, somebody kicks you out of the street, says you can't walk here because you're such and such. We have a problem now. I know the atheists like to say, "Oh, civil rights. Look, Christianity helped hold that," but they're acting just like the white bigots of the South. They come around and they start arguments, pick fights. It's called, I guess, trolling on here. But yeah, it's just it's an insane amount of effort for something that you apparently don't believe in. And again, atheism is even a bad label. It doesn't really work because it's talking about a lack of belief. If I don't believe there's, let's say I don't think there's Martians on Mars. Well, you're going to label me as an anti-Martianite or something. Again, atheism, useless label. Just as God or religion is. So I'll just narrow it down, boil it back to the one of the questions I asked. What about the documentary hypothesis? What happens with that now? Is this just a fraud? Oh, see, they're backpedaling now. It's really ridiculous. But anyways, it's my video. Head off to work. Peace. I mean that.